In this video, I'd like to show you how to use the TI-84 calculator to do basic hypothesis testing. In this example, our claim is that the average stopping time from 60 miles per hour using brand X tires is less than 12 seconds. So we've conducted an experiment where we've put brand X tires on a car and we've stopped the car 7 times from 60 miles per hour, and these are the stopping times. Our null hypothesis is that the average stopping time is 12 seconds. Our alternative hypothesis, which is really our claim, is that the average is less than 12 seconds, and we want to test this claim. Our confidence level for this test is 95%, and that means that alpha, the level of significance, is 5%. Now remember, because of the less than sign in the alternate hypothesis, it means we're going to be doing a left tail test. So our 5% is in the left tail of the distribution. In order to find the critical value, I'm going to use the inverse t function for 5% with 6 degrees of freedom. Now the reason I'm using the inverse t function to find the critical value is that we're going to be using a t-test. We're using the t-test because we have a small sample size, only 7 numbers. Furthermore, we don't know the population standard deviation. So in this case, we'd use the t-test. There's 7 data values, so the degrees of freedom is one less than 7, namely 6. So function tells us that the critical value is negative 1.943. The negative value confirms that this is in the left tail. With these numbers in mind, let's proceed to the calculator and actually perform the hypothesis testing. Now the first task will be to take our data values and put them into the L1 list in the calculator. Actually, I've already done this in advance to save time. To do it, we go to Stat, number 1, Edit, and here you see the L1 list, and you see that I've already populated it with the times. I strongly recommend that you review your data to make sure that you have not made any errors putting the numbers into the list. Those numbers are correct, so we're ready to proceed to the hypothesis testing. So I'm going to quit from this screen and go Stat, then we use the Tests menu, and then we want number 2, T-Test. Here's our T-Test screen, and you see that our input option is currently set to data. That's exactly what we want because our data is in the L1 list as indicated here. For mu sub 0, that value is simply the number that appears in the null hypothesis, namely 12. So we'll go down and put in 12. Finally, I have to indicate what the alternative hypothesis says. It's less than 12. So that's this option here. So I'll go over there, press enter, lock that in. Now we're ready to calculate. So let's go down to Calculate, press enter, and let's look at the results. Our test statistic is 0.2289. We compare that to our critical value and we see that it is not less than the critical value. This t-value is not in the left tail. It's not in the rejection zone. So based on this t-value, we would not reject the null hypothesis. Furthermore, let's look at the p-value. The p-value is fairly large, 58.6%. That compares to an alpha of 5%. Now remember, you reject the null hypothesis only if the p-value is less than alpha. Clearly this p-value is larger than alpha, so we do not reject the null hypothesis. We've also been shown the sample mean and the sample standard deviation. Now since we did not reject the null hypothesis, then the alternate hypothesis is not supported. So the claim that brand X tires will stop the car in less than 12 seconds is not supported. So I hope this video explained the fundamentals for doing hypothesis testing in the calculator.